Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, double honors to our elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. It's your brother Tamar from James, Toronto, coming at you with another video. So this is an example of how this world is Esau's world, okay? This world is definitely Esau's world. Why am I bringing these two Edomites up? Is because, you know, as a man who came from the combat world, combat sports world, you know, that used to be my life before I came into this truth. The Most High took me out of that world to bring me in this marvelous light. All right, and when you're in that combat world, especially a boxer, MMA guys are a little bit different. Okay, you know, as long as you have one sport, or you might not even have any specialty in any sport, as long as you have that dog in you and you can throw your hands, you know, that goes a long way in MMA. I mean, when it started. Even now, you can see the guys who just know how to throw their hands. They don't really know how to box. They're just tough, and they grind it out. Okay, boxing is a little different, man. In boxing, you know, you have to know what the hell you're doing. You have to know when to punch. You have to know how to punch. You have to have that timing. You have to have that defense. You know, you have to have that footwork, hand and eye coordination, right? And you have to come with that mental toughness as well. And among other things, agility, athleticism, right? And, you know, guys like, you know, any boxer, Oscar De La Hoya, you know, any Jake, you know, Mike Tyson, all these guys, they've been fighting ever since they were children, right? Ever since they were young, right? And most boxers, you know, a lot of them, you know, they go hard, man. And it takes them a long time for them to be perfect in their skills, right? But you know, and at the end of the day, they end up not even making that much money and putting their body through so many things, especially the guys in the early days, right? Have guys like Pernell Whitaker, you know, multiple weight class champions, you know, and just to name a few, Shane Mosley, you know. And these guys, and they're guys you can call their names who didn't make as much money. Guys who are not even known, right? Guys that are not even known, but they put their whole life and dedicate their whole life to this sport of so-called boxing, right? And nothing came out of it. But here you go. Here comes two Edomites, who, you know, I'm sure they've been boxing like ever since they were children, but they stopped because they were, you know. There were rich kids that got put into certain programs. They got, you know, like most of these Midwest white boys or Edomites. What they do is, you know, they wrestle from a young age, right? So they always have that gritty, that grind, that toughness in them. You know, you might just see a regular farm boy Edomite walking around. He might be a freaking NCAA champion. You might not even know, you know. But anyways. Here you go, these two Edomites coming out of nowhere, right? Making millions off a sport where Jake has put everything, blood, sweat, and tears into this. Some of them even lost their lives, right? And these two Edomites just comes out of nowhere, and now they're making millions, you know, off of. And I'm just gonna say it, off of them being Edomites, man, because there's nothing amazing about them. Who wants to see these guys box, right? Nobody wants to see them box, but like it's just people supporting them just because they're Edomites and their fan base on YouTube and all that, you know. Him and the big one here on the right, he fought. I think he lost this Jake from UK, right? Both of them pretty much. trained. They were talking shit. They started fighting. They started, that whole cloud chasing, whatever you want to call it, running their mouth. And, like it ended up being a thing where him and the other guy fought twice, but the big boy on the right here, he lost. I think that's an older brother. He lost, right? KSI beat him. I think the first fight was a draw. But it's all a joke. It's all a joke to these guys. Okay? It's all about the money for these guys. But, this is what the Israelite boxers never really understood. It was all about business, man. And a lot of them lost their riches because, they want to dedicate their life to this shit and just a sport. It moves on. And this is what the state of boxing has come down to. Two Edomites who's never dedicated their lives to anything other than making YouTube videos, and they were probably already millionaires, from these YouTube videos, but now they're jumping into your arena, challenging random people from the MMA world who doesn't know how to box, and they're knocking them out, and then they're making millions from that. Okay? So this is just it's pitiful, A lot of boxers like Frankie Randall, a lot of guys, these guys lost a lot of things because of boxing, and then you're seeing your sport, people who hasn't put in as much work, making millions off of the sport that you dedicated your life to. Because I know from being in a sport, you look at it as your own, but it's really not. So this is how the earth is giving into the hands of the people that's ruling, because you can just tell no regular Jake, and Jake has more talent than these two fools, right? Can never come out of nowhere and box, because when you look at Jake, you have to look at Jake. Jake is being looked at as a top prospect. You have to be amazing to be in that arena of boxing if you're an Israelite. If you're a regular Israelite, you can't just come talk about you're going to box like how these two Edomites just came into the arena and now they're dogging everybody out. Right? This is the thing. That's how you know this world is not fair, because Esau is ruling. You as a regular Jake, so-called regular, because every Israelite is special. You as a regular Jake in this world, you cannot do what these two Edomites have just did. Right? You cannot just come up in a state of a boxing arena and throw big events where people will buy your pay-per-view by the thousands, and selling millions of pay-per-views, man. That's how the machine is pushing these Edomites, right? This is the Jake that he fought, That's a KSI guy from England, right? And it's all a joke to these guys. A lot of men has lost their lives to this sport, dedicate everything. A lot of Israelites, right? But then two regular Edomites will just come out of nowhere and make millions off of the sport that Jake has lost his life to, man, or dedicated his life to, right? Because this is truly not living. What scripture should I get for this? Because I'm just going off of the spirit. Esau is the end of the world. I'll just start with that. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau, the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Right, because Esau is ruling now, and you can see them, them sucking all the breast of the kings of the world. And they're getting everything in totality, even down to the regular Edomite. Okay? And this is what the other regular Edomites who's talking about life isn't fair, right? You have to do what they should have been doing what these two regular Edomites are doing from time, right? Try to get up in every arena, try to get up in everything and make millions, right? Because the world is yours. Like Nas had that song years ago, whose world is this? It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Right? It's yours for now because the Lord gave you that in Genesis. And you have capitalizing on it, which is fair. This is your world, right? The fatness of the earth. I think Genesis 27. Right? So it says here, when Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, Genesis 27:37, I have made him thy Lord, which is the Israelites, right? Jacob and his descendants, going to be the Lord over your descendants, Esau, you and your descendants, and his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So this is what Esau is going through right now, right? He's going through that the fatness of the earth, and it's almost done, man. The reapers are here, the angels, they're already here, right? They're just ready to let loose that destruction, right? And the winds of the earth, so on the earth, for this place to be destroyed, right? Internally, spiritually, and physically, right? At the end of the day. But these two Jake Paul, and it's so ironic that their name is Jake, or they're probably Jacob and Logan, right? So these two Edomites is a perfect example of how Esau is ruling the world, because here they are coming out of nowhere, and they're using Jake too. See, he's up here with Floyd Mayweather, the greatest boxer I think is of all time, because I've seen a lot of boxers, man. I've seen a lot of boxers, okay? And nothing come close to this guy. As much as he's a nigga in this arena, man, in this world, right? But that's how you know this is Esau's world, and they can do whatever they want, man. Because this is very disrespectful to these guys that have been boxing, to Errol Spence, to your Sean Porter, to your Mikey Garcia. How many boxers do you know right now? There are boxers who's already putting, like, some of them are 22. They already put in 20 years. They've been putting like 15 years, Salakia, in the sport, because a lot of them start really young, 3, 4, 5 years old, right? You have guys like Devin Haney, who's 23? I'm sure he started boxing really young. Shakur Stevenson, right? Very young, man. You have guys, Mexican prospect, Ortiz, and all these guys, man. Victor Ortiz. What's that guy from Robert Garcia's camp? I forgot his name, but his last name's Ortiz anyways. You have Boots Ennis, Jaron Ennis. You have guys like that, young guys. But, they've already got that whole world of experience when it comes to the sport of boxing. And no one knows their name, but people know these guys' names, right? And how many boxing fights does he have? 1, 2, 3, right? But everyone knows their names. So this is how you know this is Esau's world. So all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, double honors our elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.